Good afternoon, Patriots, and welcome to another edition of Quarantime. As always, I'm your host, RP, and joining me live in the studio is my co-host, M3. There is a purge on. A war for the hearts and minds of the world. Right now, this channel is safe, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Keep praying for me. Keep praying for Methods. Keep praying for the channel. Pray for all of us to maintain the ability to express ourselves. This is certainly a boom week, guys. There is stuff going down. I know a lot of people got emails. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about many different pieces of news. We've got updates on the Flynn case. We've got updates on the congressional insider trading case. All of this and so much more. World Patriots, as my friend Space Shot would say, don't forget to like and share this broadcast. Over 1,500 people here with 490 likes. Please, everyone, do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn and your coffee, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. Franklin's Finest Coffee is the first ever emergency survival coffee with an actual up to 25-year shelf life. The kit provides a 1-year supply of flavorful Franklin's Finest coffee for one person. It's conveniently packaged in 12 resealable, 60-serving, heavy-duty 4-layer zipper pouches for a total of 720 servings. It's all packaged in a rugged, water-resistant bucket for easy storage, and Franklin's Finest Coffee is the ultimate survival perk, especially for those that drink coffee on a daily basis. Or you can take it camping. It's 100% Colombian, and it's also the perfect item for barter or trade in an emergency. You'll thank us later for that tip. As Benjamin Franklin said, among the numerous luxuries on the table, coffee may be considered as one of the most valuable. It excites cheerfulness without intoxication, and the pleasing flow of spirits which it occasions is never followed by sadness, languor, or debility. Welcome back, Patriots. Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Quarantime. I appreciate everyone who's here. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. Let me just give a couple of quick thank yous. JS, thank you once again for joining as a member. Forrester Rob, thank you as well. Jacqueline Cross, thank you as well. And then Kristen P asks, what is the best way to support this channel financially, through YouTube or Patreon? Several weird emails from PayPal yesterday. Well, those weird emails that you received, you must be paying through PayPal, but this is from someone at this platform. Several times yesterday, memberships and the ability to super chat were turned off. I can't account for it. It's almost as if it was done manually by someone. And we'll talk about the best ways that you guys can help if you want to. But first, I need to thank Methods for being here with me. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. But we've been talking about what you're just bringing up, and it's getting sketchy. I see more and more of these things happening in channels. They took down our dog stream twice, I think, this past week.
Oh, wow.
It happened to us recently. So, yeah, it's getting kind of sketchy.
Yeah, so Super Chat is working for the time being. Memberships are working for the time being. But I mean, I've got the Patreon for people who want to support the channel on a monthly basis. I know that it's cool to have the membership here on YouTube so that you can get the emojis and see the badge next to your name. And for the time being, if you want to continue to do that, you're welcome to. My Patreon is below. If the mods could go ahead and share it. That is, I think, right now a safer way to make sure that you're supporting the channel on a monthly basis. There's no minimum, there's no maximum. You can put in, you know, whatever you feel like, and you know, I appreciate whatever it is. For the time being, you know, the channel is still monetized. You know, I went and looked through my videos yesterday, and the last 50 videos, basically the last 2 months after a manual review by somebody on YouTube, they were deemed to be appropriate. You guys know that I am very careful about the way we discuss things on this channel. We try to talk about the things that are important without using the buzzwords, the things that they're going to, you know, use as an excuse to remove something. Well, finally, there was a video this past Saturday that I know many people have asked me where it is now. It's no longer on the channel. And that was my interview with the doctor. I'm not even going to say her name because I'm afraid that it's going to trigger something. So that is no longer up on this channel. However, I am working on getting it published somewhere else so that you guys can still see it or share it if you like. But, you know, I think that might have had something to do with it. Yesterday, I was told that 15 channels that my ad agency, the ones who hooks us up with the sponsorship deals, they said that 15 channels were completely demonetized yesterday. I know that it was not only those 15, but there were many more across this platform that were taken down. And I'm sure that there were even channels deleted straight up that I don't even know about. But things are clearly heating up, and as I said in the intro, this is a war for the hearts and minds of the world. There are things out there that you know, are taboo, that can't be talked about, and they're very clear in what those things are now. It almost makes it a little bit easier so that I know straight up what can't be talked about and what must be talked about on other platforms. That's why I think it's so important that people have Twitter so that they can follow me on Twitter, because I say whatever I you know, darn well please on Twitter. And I am doing little mini daily videos on there, you know, just talking about, you know, big headlines and stuff like that. You know, obviously Methods is big on Twitter. And Methods, I'm sorry, Chi-Chi's at the door. I got to go let him in, buddy. Can you take over for a second?
Yeah, that's fine, buddy. Well, first off, I hope everybody's doing well out there. You know, what we're talking about here, it's been, you know, a concern for a lot of the channels that we're friends with, even because it keeps happening to everybody. And it's bad enough that we have to do this like verbal judo to dance around these words and not say them to trigger some kind of algorithm that gets us taken down when we are all advocates for free speech. We want to speak clearly, put our thoughts out there to hang out, and we're always having to second guess the next words we're going to say, because we don't want to get, I don't want to get Red Pill's channel taken down. He's worked very, very hard. I'm very proud of him to watch him grow over this last, you know, year or so. But yeah, with that said, I mean, the sport is always great. It's really, really awesome to see happen in this movement, because at the end of the day, anything, like we said before, anything that we cover is going to be free. We don't hide anything whatsoever. We believe that the information should flow freely, but
yeah,
and that's why
no paywalls, never a paywall, and I want to be very clear about that for anybody, because some people look at Patreon and they think, oh, you know, you're charging for information. You know, I don't put anything out on Patreon that I don't put out on my regular channel. I want to be very clear about that. But,
right, and 412 and on out there, good to see you here, bud. He said they got demonetized a few weeks ago. Yeah, I know about that. It's terrible. And they're having to do like the super chat, because they like to read the super chat questions and stuff. They're having to read them from the PayPal, so it's just another step, and it's just hard when you're running, you know, this entire apparatus of a show by yourself at your own computer. So 412, we hear you. Make sure everybody you're following his channel as well, because it's great. But I mean, to this whole point, you know, we just want to cover all this information and stuff, and it's became something more of, I don't want to say a job, because we love what we do, but it's became kind of a business aspect of things, as trying to make sure that we can do everything that we want to. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, it's not even necessarily the revenue. I mean, to your point about 412 reading off the PayPal donations, part of the charm for me, why I love doing the live streams, because don't get me wrong, I love the produce shows. I love being able to do, to create that content and put it out and know that people enjoy it. But there is a whole different group of people who come to watch us on a live stream, and being able to read those chats and interact with the audience is a huge part of that. And the idea of losing that is very scary because it's going to change it, But then even more than that, the idea of losing the platform that I've built, the idea of not being able to reach people, that is the scariest part for me, because I know that if they take away the monetization, it's one step away from just being that much easier to just, wipe you off the face of the earth.
I agree totally, man. But yeah, we could go ahead and move on. I know you got some super chats and stuff to read.
All right. So, I just want to say, Jojo asked if she should stop sharing the membership link. I want people to, support the channel in whatever way is easiest for them, in whatever way, they decide. So I would say don't stop sharing the membership link, but I just want you guys to know that if you are a member and something happens, that Patreon is there. There's no paywall. I think the only thing that I'm going to put out there that I'm not going to have anywhere else is the interview that was deleted. But I mean, I'm also going to try to put it on BitChute and stuff, because I don't want to make it so that people can't watch it. I don't want anyone to think that I'm charging for certain information and not charging for other information, because it's all the same. It's always going to be the same. But that option is available if people want to support the channel on a monthly basis, and just know that it's safer. Although, let's be honest, I mean, I don't know how much safer it is. I mean, there's been multiple purges at Patreon as well. So I still got to be careful. We still got to be careful. All right. So let me just say thank you to Kristen P. First of all, thanks for bringing that up. The Mandalorian says, keep fighting the good fight, friends. Berserker Bear Buffalo Dustin says, my subscription was delayed, then renewed last night. Got an email. Odd. Ministry of Truth strikes again. Yeah, it got turned off by somebody a couple of different times, and I got it turned back on again. I know that every single time it would send an email out to everybody. I got hundreds of emails last night. Thank you, Berserker Bear. Suki says, does Methods have a Patreon? No, he doesn't have a Patreon right now, but this is something that I was just mentioning to him. It's a great idea, because I know that there are people out there who want to support Methods' work. And, Methods, you want to comment on that? What your thoughts on it are?
Well, my thoughts on it, because that's been brought up to me for a while, and I mean, I'd always just want the work that I do to speak for itself, and I just let whether it's the goodness of people or God, I look at it as God blessing or whatever. When money shows up, I mean, I've been helped out so much through this. I even feel bad that it's even happened at all. But with that said, I really do appreciate it. But it would take me doing more than I'm doing now. Let's say running my own channel, which has been a discussion for a little while now, to justify to myself to put out something like that, because right now everything that I do now I feel like I should be doing anyways for the cause. So it is what it is, and I appreciate Suki bringing that up. Maybe one day, but for now, I mean, just alone with the PayPal and all that stuff, it does help, but at the end of the day, the work's the most important. And somebody else in the chat had asked for 412's channel, and so I went to go grab the link, and that just it reminded me that here at 4 p.m. Eastern, he's going to have on both Brendan Dilley and Frank from Quite Frankly on for that. So I'm going to share the direct live stream link to that in the chat. Make sure you guys check that out for sure. That's going to be a good show.
Yeah. And then somebody in the chat, I'm sorry, I don't see. Oh yeah. Lil Batty too said, super chat YouTube takes 40%, correct? Yes, that is correct. I've always looked at it as a tax on my ability to be able to read you guys' comments live. So if you want to donate and not give a percentage to somebody else, that PayPal is always there. The mods do a really good job of sharing it. So there's that. You can also put a message in your PayPal donation. And just want to say, I need to say thank you to Diane Heil. She gave $20. So I think I saw that Red Pills Warhawk said that he was going to be giving portions off of a custom tomahawk job if that happened. So there's one right there, Red Pills Warhawk. Kathleen Sullivan, she said, thank you, Red Pill, and thank you, Warhawk, for the discount. So there's two. And then Maury Hansen sent $15. So thank you very much, all three of you. But you can put a message in there. And what I'm going to start doing is having this open right here so that I can read it while it's live on the air, just, like we're doing the super chats now. So thank you again, Suki. And, I personally think that Methods, it's a great idea because you do a lot of work. And just to have that option for people to donate monthly, man, I think that you'd be surprised how many people would want to take advantage of it. Tony Ofe says, Trump is using the military to vax the U.S. He interviewed with Maria Bartiromo. Your thoughts? I don't know anything about that. Methods, can you comment on that?
I was reading through the chat here. What was the question?
Tony Ofe says that Trump is using the military to force a vax on the United States. I haven't seen that. And from what I understand, President Trump's opinion on it is that it's a treatment that should be available and the decision to take it should be yours. But Tony is saying that the military is going to be doing something with it.
Right. I saw something about that right before the show started. I didn't have a chance to catch it this morning.
Okay.
But my knee-jerk reaction on that was that they were going to use the military to make it available. But, I mean, the whole forced vax type conversation, I mean, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't see it going down that road. But, yeah, I'd have to watch it to give any actual opinion on it.
Okay. One sec, guys. I need to turn my heat off because it's way too hot. Okay, off. There we go. Thank you, Tony Oface. Miracle Girly, thank you for joining as a member again. EO2 Dave says, I wish there was an alternative to YouTube that the overlords could not shut anybody down. This is something people have been working on for a long time. I think part of the problem is there's too many alternatives and everybody's fractured. We're on a bunch of different things. I'll tell you what, the other thing about it is that because this has been around for so long, it's so streamlined. It's polished. It only takes so long to get a video online and then, have it delivered to people. Other platforms like BitChute, man, it takes a lot longer for a video to get online because it's on the blockchain. They have to send it out to, pieces of it basically out to so many different people to have it online. Let's see. MC17 says shortened handle for your syllabic convenience. I cannot figure out why Kushner was invited to Bilderberg. Thoughts? Hope you stay monetized. Well, I always thought that Jared Kushner was acting as the emissary of President Trump when he went to Bilderberg. Let's say that your greatest enemies are going to be plotting and scheming behind your back, and they give you an opportunity to show up and keep tabs on them. Wouldn't you want someone that you trust, that you're close with, to be there to report back to you? I think that I would. And I until the last 24 hours, I thought that, Jared Kushner was at least 70% trustworthy. I don't know if that's true anymore. We'll talk about that. But, definitely he needed somebody to be there. Leslie Burgett says, so much appreciate you all taking the time and feeling like it is worth the time to do. We love the live stream. We become a family. And then that is the other part of it, all of us coming together, knowing that we have this collective voice and we can come hang out and we can discuss these things and we can get to the heart of the truth, what is going on in this world. If this wasn't here, guys, it would be such a blow to morale, not just for me, but I think for a lot of people. Thanks, Leslie. Lynn's over it. Just sending you and Methods some love. Methods to PayPal. Thank you very much for supporting Methods PayPal, Lynn. Wheezy Girl says, just a little something in love. Hang in there. Thank you, Wheezy, and thank you very much for your dedication to the channel. Jojo, all of my mods, Real Red Pill Girlfriend. Honey, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I know that you're working. Redeemed Patriot says, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. Much respect and a Patriot salute for you both. Trump 2020. Thank you very much, Redeemed Patriot. And I think that when you look at the situation, there is a desperation out there among the other side. And when they feel the need to silence and stifle in the way that they have, I really do feel it's because we're getting so much closer. People do desperate things in desperate times, and unfortunately, this is the knee-jerk reaction that they're taking. Let's see. Bill Simpson says, love you guys. Methods, heavyweight champ of being cued. That's right. He is the heavyweight champ of being cued. Georgia Patriot, why not subscribe star? People who were kicked off Patreon are there. I won't give money to Patreon because they've been aggressively anti-free speech. I just haven't had the time to set up a subscribe star. Since you've asked, I will set one up. I'll see if I can do that tonight because my video for 6 p.m. is already done. Mary Sean says, we'd love to support Methods too. Just signed up on Patreon to Red Pill. There you go, Methods. Whitehead says, Queen before King, Hillary going down first per our favorite Anon. I think that is an excellent point, White Hat. We're going to get to those posts in just a second. Stephanie Oostven says, the live stream has a pulse of its own, and we've come to love not only you guys, but the audience members' personalities. That's right. You know, my mods do a great job of keeping this chat comfy. I know that some people want to show up in a live stream and say whatever, you know, is on their minds in not, you know, maybe an aggressive way. But the truth of the matter is that this platform keeps an eye on the chats, and I've seen them delete channels for having chats that are quote unquote too toxic. Let's see. Thank you, Stephanie. Scott Simmons, can we please get a shout out for a buddy, Craig Mason's Reasonable Conversation channel? Also, shout outs to Leslie Burgett, a mod on his lives and friend. Absolutely. Craig Mason's Reasonable Conversation channel. He is a close friend, not only of the channel, but of myself personally. I know that him and Methods are tight as well. We love Craig. I'm going to be having Craig back on the show, hopefully this month. We just talked about it recently, but we haven't scheduled a date. I absolutely love Craig. I love his perspective. I love having him here, and I know that Leslie is a top-notch mod over on his channel. So, Leslie, I appreciate you supporting the real news.
And I'm dropping Craig's link to his channel in the chat because, yeah, Craig's great. Would absolutely love for everybody here because that's who we tune into on the weekends, right? I mean, I spend my Saturday, around lunchtime watching his live streams because it's great. Love his point of view.
Me too. I'm always there. Even if I can't chat, I'm doing stuff around the house, but I'm listening. Kier Revere says, Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, author of Dissolving Illusions, would like to come on your show for an interview. I sent an email 5-ish days ago. Is that still the best contact method? Yes, Kier Revere, that is the best contact method. It just takes me some time to get to all of my emails. Did you put interview in the subject line? Because if you did, that makes it much easier for me to find all of the various people that are suggested to me as an interview. I will definitely look after the show. Meow Meow Kitty Poop, good to see ya. Trump on Barataromo, military rolling out vaccine to most people. Military bought 300 million syringes already. Our favorite Anon is pacification. I need to look into this. I don't know exactly the context in which he said it. I do not believe that President Trump is going to force medical care on us, so we're going to have to check that out. Chris Beimer says, what do you think of Trump's comments on the vax? Again, this is something that I'm going to have to research. I haven't seen this coverage. I don't know what the president said. I only know his prior comments stating that he believed that people should have the choice to take this stuff. If this does become mandatory, then that is a big problem. That is a big problem. All right. So let's talk about the first news story of the day. We've talked about Senator Richard Burr, Dianne Feinstein, Kelly Loeffler, James Inhofe. These are the 4 congressmen who got caught selling stock, okay? They sold stock in the wake of their classified briefing on the Rona, all right? Now, it is illegal for members of Congress to do this practice. It's called insider trading, when you take your inside knowledge and use it to profit off of it. Richard Burr was particularly disgusting because not only is he a rhino, but he came out publicly and told people that there was nothing to worry about. Keep investing, don't worry, nothing's going to happen. But privately, he was telling people that this was going to be close to 1917, 1918. Now, he went and sold almost $2 million worth of stock himself. And the great news is the FBI has now served a warrant to him. They've confiscated his iPhone. And besides just his phone, they've also served a warrant to Apple for his iCloud account. So anything that he was talking about, regardless of whether he deleted it from his phone or not, they're going to get it. So, this is literally a situation where you can say they have everything.
Right. And I'm dropping the Washington Examiner article on this in the chat so everybody can have it. Because to me, one of the biggest takeaways about this is that when this broke, we all wanted Feinstein to immediately be questioned, right? And then when we heard about Burr, we're like, well, why not Feinstein? Well, that's the other part of the situation. And I'll go ahead and drop that information now because that news is breaking.
Here's the thing about it, Methods. They start this investigation by going after a Republican.
That's exactly where I was going with it, man. Yeah, because this breaking tweet from Alex Salvi over at what is he with OAN? He says Senator Dianne Feinstein's office confirmed she answered questions from the FBI and handed over documents about her husband's stock trades. Follow the family, follow the bloodline. They have all their their family connections, do these things. But yeah, to your point, that's exactly right. Having a senator or having a Republican be the first, because the biggest narrative that the left is going after is that Trump's going after his political enemies.
It's a political attack.
Right. And they were obviously, it's, attacking Democrats. You need to vote Democrats, to protect from this dictator. That's this whole argument. Going after Burr at first is definitely great. And knowing what we kind of know about Burr, and there's more to it. I wish I had more time this morning to refresh on his activities from the past. I mean, he has other connections to other things going on right now. I don't know if you want to go ahead and touch on that.
Well, I mean, he was, until earlier today, the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. He is stepping down because he's under criminal investigation. That is huge news right there. I mean, just the very fact that the DOJ would allow the FBI to confiscate his phone and serve a warrant on Apple for his iCloud account, that is a major, major move against a sitting U.S. senator, and it shows that this investigation has kicked into overdrive. Now, with the fact that Dianne Feinstein is answering questions as well, I mean, that's how it started with Richard Burr. He answered questions. Now that this is happening, I would not be surprised if we see both Dianne and her husband also have their cell phones and their iCloud accounts confiscated. And this is going to continue out to Kelly Loeffler and James Inhofe. I believe those are both Republicans as well.
Right. So you have Burr step down now, like Feinstein, the ball's in your court. Are you going to step down from any committees and stuff that you're doing?
Yeah.
Right. I would absolutely love to see that. But just to a point real quick, because I know that we, only have an hour here. One thing for anybody that's questioning off the rip about Burr and why a Republican, we're supposed to trust all Republicans, right? There are rhinos. Well, I'm going to drop this article from back when Dan Coates, if you remember the DNI that was bottlenecking all the information that Grinnell is now putting out because Coates left. This article I just dropped here has a quote from Richard Burr at his confirmation to be DNI for Dan Coates's nomination hearing. And the quote is, "Dan's intellect, his judgment, his honorable service, and his commitment to the workforce make him a natural fit as Director of National Intelligence. I have absolute trust that he will lead the community with integrity." And that's a quote from Richard Burr. Now, let me ask you, look back on what Coates did. Did he do any of that?
Nope.
You know what I mean? So, but Burr had no problem going on record making these comments back then, which means he was all for it. So to me and you were talking about it before the show, like, I'm curious, since they went after his phone records and all that stuff, how far is that warrant go back?
Right.
Is it going to be, if they can do the entire first term here of the president, or even during the election, the year in 2016, I'd be very curious to see what would show up in that. And I'm sure that the FBI and others would like to know as well.
Absolutely. And perhaps they've had a FISA warrant on him this entire time. I mean, maybe he is somebody else who was under investigation without knowing it. But I would imagine that the possibility that this could extend back farther than the date of the stock trade. Perhaps, maybe they want to look at if Richard Burr had profited on other trades, or if there was some additional profit-making motive for him to do certain things outside of, where he is in office. But the very fact that he was so quick to praise Dan Coates and just basically laud him as a saint, I think that really shows you where Richard Burr is in terms of this whole machine. He's a part of it. Coates was a part of it. Now, I just need to say thank you to Linda Watson. Also, thank you to QZ73, Patriot from Kazakhstan. That is so cool. I didn't know we had anybody from Kazakhstan watching the show. Let's see, RP78 and M3, keep up the good fight. Trump is my president too. It's like allies getting closer and closer to Berlin back in 1945. Enemy's defense is fierce, but our victory is imminent. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you, buddy. That's so cool. I love the fact that we have people from all over the globe watching the show. It really fills me with joy because I know that we're reaching people, and this fight is greater than the fight for America. We're literally in the fight of our lives for the entire planet. It's an incredible, incredible thing.
Hey, I totally agree. And real quick, Rabbit, I'm not even trying to say it with a W, but great friend of me on Twitter, just tagged me and said, Brian Cates did a whole thread on this insider trading thing with Burr. I actually have that tab available. We wouldn't obviously have time to go through it because it's pretty long, but I'm going to drop it in here in the chat because it's definitely interesting.
All right, sweet. Now, need to say thank you to Daddy Crab. Our 2 p.m. appointment is with Quarantime. Be there or be square. Thank you for being here, Daddy Crab. Stephanie Sprague says, what are the chances that Biden is faking dementia to avoid prosecution? Honestly, I don't think he's faking it. I think that he's had multiple brain surgeries. He has, is advanced in age. I really honestly think that he is plausibly, facing early onset dementia. I mean, I guess maybe not even so early because he is older in years. But there is the possibility that he's faking it, but I don't know. Let's see. Patriot Dog Dad 1 says, we know what rhinos are, but fair weather patriots are quinos in Q name only. Got to keep it real. Hoo-ah. That's right, man. That's right. You either you trust the plan or you don't. That's the truth. Sherry Campbell says, join Patreon today. Glad Super Chat is back, though. Thank you, Sherry. Mandalorian says, remember Trump was in favor of red flag laws, but then all fell away. Same thing with vax, optics. I think it is optics. I think that President Trump was, using optics back there with the red flag, and I think that there is a certain amount of optics here. Think if he came out against people having the option to get the vax, then that would be something immediately that they would attack him for. They would, rip him apart in the press. President Trump does a pretty good job of giving them certain things to go after him in the press about it. And if this was something that it was, time for him to fall on his sword over, I believe he would. So I think that it's not the time for this to be taken on as an issue outside of the way that it's already being framed. Red Pills Warhawk says, those who dropped 20 or more, hit me up. All right, buddy. I'm going to need you to go ahead and drop your email in the chat again, because the one that I have saved is your personal, and I don't want to give that one out. So let's move on to our next story.
Hey, while we're moving on, we're dancing really close to 5,000 people here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been great.
Yeah.
And it felt good to have the conversation in the beginning of the show, because this is the kind of things we talk about off air. We like to share it with all our friends here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool. But yeah, if you guys don't mind clicking that like button, that would be great. And thank you guys to everybody hitting us up on PayPal and hitting up Red Pill for his Patreon and the Super Chat. So we really appreciate the support.
Yeah, definitely. Stephanie Cole, thank you for your PayPal as well. Yeah, please, anybody who is okay, there it is, 1770 sticks at protonmail.com. Let me grab this real quick so I can copy it to my desktop, because every time I do, I forget to save it. Okay, there we go. 1770 sticks at protonmail.com. Cool. So
it's a great name for the email.
It is. It totally is. Robert Morgan says, promises made, promises capped, no matter the party, drain the swamp. Absolutely. This is not about left versus right. They have they've lied to us all these years and pretended that there was two different sides. President Trump switched back and forth between parties throughout his life because he was trying to run in the best chance to actually get elected. So because we had 8 years of a dim, the best thing that President Trump could do would be to run as a Republican. And it's about more than that. It's about being a patriot, okay? I think we need to have a serious overhaul of our political parties. Not everything in the Republican Party, aligns with all of our values. And I know that the same can be said for the Dems. Not many people who are just, identifying as a Dem, they're only doing it because they feel they don't have anything else. I think that we really do need to have a major renaissance in terms of politics and what we identify here. Because there are things that I know many of us hold dear that people in the Republican Party, you know, big names, they don't adhere to it. You know, I mean, they're fair weather. It's like the quinos and the rhinos. Okay, so we didn't Hillary Clinton come out and like have a comment to make about our movement methods?
Yeah, she was asked about it, and if I remember correctly, our favorite Anon tagged it. So I'm just going to grab the tweet, you know, because let their notifications go crazy, because it's definitely crazy when it happens. But yeah, no, she was asked about it, and in that tweet, and you have the tweet available, bud?
I am looking for it right now.
Here, I'll drop it in the DM real quick, so you can open it up and put it on the screen.
Okay.
Because there's a highlight and this person is retweeting our buddy Demo, which Demo's great.
Yes, I did have the Demo tweet, but not Your Mom's Opinion. I also follow them. This is not their first time being posted on the board, so congratulations, Not Your Mom's Opinion.
Right, but I want to give a shout out to Demo. Demo and I have talked for a long time, and so the fact that, you know, he's embedded in a favorite Anon post, so it's pretty cool.
But I mean, I count it just the same, because it's the message of this retweet that's what our favorite Anon wanted to share.
I don't even think I should comment on the scoreboard when it comes to getting, you know, tags. So I'll agree with you and move on. But the quote here is, when I spoke with Clinton recently about our favorite Anon, our 17, she said, I just get under their skin like anybody else. You know, referring to if I didn't have the Secret Service protecting me. So it has to do with, you know, we're dangerous. Clinton just gets under, you know, our skin type stuff, and the threats. It's the typical deflection, right? Mm-hmm. You know, moving away from it. And she says, I don't think until relatively recently most people understood how well organized they were, which is what I like. If anything, that's kind of, you know, conceding to the fact that we are pretty organized. I see us as beautiful chaos. Absolutely. You know, just an enigma that's going through. Kind of reminds me, like when something comes out, you know, we're like the Tasmanian devil, to make that reference, and we just go through and just take it all apart and go with it. So to me, that's kind of conceding the fact that we are making that much noise. Think about how far we come. I know I say that a lot, but remember when we first got started on Twitter alone, or like when you first started your channel and we would come out and say things and people wouldn't even really pay attention to the movement, or they'd be like, oh, you guys are just crazy tinfoil people with a new name. Right. And now the losing twice candidate for president, ex-State Department, you know, the Clinton crime mafia family that we talk about is legitimately being asked about this movement, and the movement's only a few years old. How beautiful is that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a major statement. It shows just how far we've come, and I absolutely love it. So big ups to Demo on getting this post on the board. Now, the HRC, she's not the only one referring to us. We also got a tweet this morning, 6 hours ago, from the former director of the Clowns in America, John O'Brennan. Not surprising, considering that his name came up yesterday in that declassified document. Now, there's actually something I wanted to say that I didn't specify in the video. I took it for granted that people would understand the D5 reference. D5 is something that's been referenced in the posts for, you know, a couple of years. And there's a couple of different meanings for it. D5 is the most powerful avalanche as well. But in this reference, it is referring to the date that this release from General Paul Nakasone put out. It was on May 4th, the 4th of May. D is the fourth letter of the alphabet. May is the fifth month. So D5, that's where that comes in. So, but what it shows is the level of strategic military planning that's gone into everything that we're seeing played out. You know, one of the things that our favorite Anon said last night was that there's a reason it had to take this long. Hang on, I'm trying to find it so that I can specifically reference it. Where the heck is it? A lot more coming soon.
And while you're looking for that, a fun little fact here. You know how General Nakasone took over for Rogers. Yep. As far as, you know, the Cyber Command and taking over the United States Cyber Command. Well, guess what date he assumed office?
On D5?
Yeah, 2 years ago,
Yeah.
2 year Delta, same date. He assumed office for the director of the NSA and commander of the United States Cyber Command. So 2 years to the day of this whole thing of that being released by Grinnell and all that. Definitely fascinating, and I like to believe that it's planned out that well. You know.
What? Am I wrong? I mean, I could have sworn I read a post that said that last night. Talking about the length of time that it's taken. There's a reason it took this
I'll
long.
I'll grab it, man. I just saw it just a second ago.
All right.
4235. The point is the point to understand. They knowingly unmasked, attached names to after POTUS won the election of 2016. They thought they could prevent the exposure of this information and remain protected. Why did they believe this? And this is referring to the unmasking stuff. Why did they believe this? What quote insurance did they have? Infiltration of U.S. government. This fact alone should scare every American. Shadow presidency, shadow government. It took this long for a reason.
Wow.
So,
the problem is that on the ag site, there are posts missing. We need to.
I've heard about having some problem. Yeah, we need to have a chat with him. I have seen stuff talking about. I'm just on QMap.
Yeah.
But to that point, though, why you're bringing that up, it took this long for a reason. You know, it's not. This isn't an "I told you so" moment for anybody listening. But when we say things like, "Well," when people ask, "Well, why is this taking so long?" or "Why does it have to play out this way? Why do they not just arrest or whatever?" There's other things going on that we don't get. And when these certain things come out, like, oh, it had to play out this way specifically for us to then release these unmasking letters and stuff for about Biden. I mean, that's naming Biden right there, right? What if they tried to do that in the middle of the impeachment investigation? They would have just said, well, look, Ukraine phone call was about going after Biden, and now so is this. You know what I mean? Like, you would have this spin on it. So when it says it takes us long for a reason, that means that there's more to it than we know, and over time, hopefully, we'll understand it better. But for now, that's why the trust the plan moniker has become such a thing, to the point that a lot of us even get tired at times even hearing it.
Yeah. I mean, the point is that there is a lot of planning that's going into this. There are so many moving pieces. I mean, think about President Trump getting his judges put into place, okay? Obviously, we're looking at the situation with Judge Sullivan, Rudy Contreras. I mean, many people on the FISC, I would imagine, absolutely corrupt, completely part of the machine. If we were to just have rushed on in, immediately put these people into the system, then what would have happened with all of the holdovers at the DOJ? What would have happened with all of the judges that were appointed by the renegade administration? These people would have stood in the way and not allowed justice to take place. And you've got the same thing all throughout the federal government. And then, take a look at state and local governments as well. I mean, they've been doing a lot of work at all three of these levels to remove people and get people in who are actually patriots and who are going to, stand for the values that we need here in America.
Yeah, and just real quick on that point, I know that we've talked about how Obama had left all these judge spaces available. And the theory that we've always had is that it was leaving it for Hillary, because, I mean, Hillary can then appoint all these judges, and you know how like Trump gets to use that as, on his resume as president as accomplishing stuff. She would have done that, and obviously she would have appointed whatever slanted judges she wanted. But I had a point made to me, and I forget who said it, so I don't want to give credit to the wrong person. But with the less amount of judges, available, there would be more like cases filtered to these bad judges, right?
Yeah.
So it would delay. It would be able to stop, actual justice to happen to people that deserve it, but are tied into this whole spiderweb cabal.
Now, Coop makes an excellent point. D5 is also a chess move. I forgot to bring that up. But here, let me do a couple of these quick thank yous. No Lies Truth, thanks for joining as a member. Bruce Wayne says, RP, did you see my email regarding the Krauthammer videos of Flynn? Yes, Charles Krauthammer, the now deceased pundit that used to make the rounds on the news, he said like 3 years ago that this was an investigation looking for a crime rather than looking to solve a crime. So Charles Krauthammer, said that a long time ago, and then it wasn't long after that he passed away. He got fast-acting cancer. Thank you, Bruce. Denise says, did you get the pics I PM'd you of Boris on the day he came out of the hospital wearing a white rabbit tie and the message attached to it? That I did, Denise, and I'm going to show that picture right now. All right, here is a close-up of Boris Johnson's tie. Actually, yeah, take a look at that. Okay, it's covered in white rabbits. How about that, Methods? Are you seeing that?
I am waiting on it to show up in Zoom Big. Is that what it is there?
That's exactly what it is. Tiny white rabbits. Tiny white rabbits. Okay.
I mean, I dig it.
Now here's another one. I think this is the meme that they released. Thanks to you, this is just a meme that somebody made. Thanks to you, the plan is working, but then it's signed by Boris Johnson. But this right here is the picture of him the day that he got out of the hospital, I guess. You know, I would imagine that Boris, they probably did what they could to try to remove him from the situation. So, Trump Be Cool asks if we spoke about the 21st Wing Commander of the Space Force. We haven't talked about it yet, but this is actually something I forgot to mention to you, Methods. The 21st Wing Commander of the Space Force was found deceased in his home.
Yeah, I saw something about it, but I hadn't dug into it further. It was on my Rolodex of things to get into.
Yeah.
What happened?
Natural causes, they're saying right now. I mean, or at least there's no signs of foul play, but he was in his 50s. Hold on. We're losing audio.
You're back.
Okay, good. So yeah, I mean, this is something we're going to continue to report on, but I've only seen the one article that I have. My buddy Wayne sent it over to me. Let's see. Robert Morgan, thank you. No Lies Truth, thank you. Bruce Wayne, thank you. Denise, always thank you. Mountain Lace says, 17 sounds like he's backing Graham's decision to not call Barry first. Chess theory, Queen protects the king. Why don't we go ahead and talk about that right now? So this is the most recent drop, 4241. And we've got a couple of tweets. We've got a tweet from Jason Miller, and he says, Graham shoots down the president's call for Barry to testify on Russia probe origins. Now, we've got an article about it as well. And then an Anon says the same thing, and we've got links to those. Now, our favorite Anon includes this very moving picture of a military guy, looks like a special operator, and he's got the names of all the people who lost their lives in Benghazi, and he says, we won't forget. And, of course, he's got a Punisher badge on. But we have an article for the Graham Judiciary Chairman information. It says, worth remembering, think chess. Do you attack the king in the beginning or middle to end? Queen protects the king. That means you go after the queen first. Who would the queen be? Well, I mean, of course, that would be HRC.
Well, I mean, we talked about it before the show. This happened under Obama's watch, and you have to expose what happened during these times under the watch to make even if you're going to go after a previous president, because we even see people, pundits and stuff that we would consider on our side, right? They want the truth to come out, or saying, I wasn't even like Rush saying there's no way that Obama could be, arrested, indicted. It just wouldn't happen. I've been seeing chatter about that. So if I'm wrong, guys, I'm sorry. But yeah, I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of other pundits saying like, it's just not possible. Well, what if the case is made good enough to where you couldn't deny it? What if you prove the fact that it was ordered? Benghazi was, done by people that were connected in this government.
Or what if you take the queen out first and she gives information on the king?
Right. I mean, of course she would squeal. I obviously think she would. But yeah, I mean, you have to make the case for all the different stuff. That's why I'm glad like the Fast and Furious stuff is coming out and being discussed again, because we need to expose all the different crimes going on during that 8 years to build the case for where people are like, why isn't he arrested yet? Not even just us, because we all would love it, but other people, the ones that are just casually paying attention and only catching the headlines, or at least, what Trump says on Twitter and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now, the article that's in that post, it's talking about Lindsey Graham. He's going to secede the judiciary chairmanship back to Chuck Grassley. I think that's an excellent move. Obviously, many people in the chat are not fond of Lindsey Graham. I think if Grassley gets back in there, he's going to be much more likely to subpoena the people that we want to be subpoenaed. Grassley has been there from the very beginning. He's played along. He's seen all of the evidence. And I think that once he gets back into that chairmanship, we're going to see some big, big names get subpoenaed and have to come testify in Congress. It's going to be a much better deal than what we've had with Lindsey Graham.
Right, and I love Grassley. I think he's exactly who I would want to be heading a lot of these things, because he just doesn't care. He wants things covered. He puts things, blunt to the point, and all that stuff. And the fact that we've got, the announcement from Graham saying that allegedly, we'll say this because no action Graham at times, and that they're going to do the Crossfire Hurricane hearings starting next month. So as these things now, if it becomes next month and he has other excuses and stuff, more and more y'all will see me dogging him on Twitter and everywhere else. Because, I am losing faith in him as a person, and not saying I trusted him before, because obviously he was friends with No Name. But as far as getting this stuff done, I believe still he's going to, because if there's timing for things to happen and they need to happen in a certain order, and if these hearings need to happen after this unmasking information came out, and other stuff that even Trump's alluded to, saying that there's a lot more coming, and even reporters are saying they're hearing chatter about it. If that stuff needed to be out before these hearings, I completely understand Graham having to wait, or being told, "Hey, sit in the corner,
right?
Sit Ubu, sit in the corner, hang out, and wait." And you're going to be dogged publicly, but we know who you used to be before Trump was president, so you're going to deal with it. I'm completely fine with that.
Me too.
But, and I'll just ask the chat real quick. Okay, outside the fact, I'm not going to say, press whatever if you trust Graham, but press 1 if you think Graham is playing his role and will hold these hearings and they will be what they need to be based on some type of plan. Press 2 if you think he's just going to keep snaking around and we're going to have to just wait on Grassley. And stuff like that. So 1, if you think he's doing what he's supposed to with the hearing stuff. 2, he's just not going to do anything at all.
Somebody just said channel memberships were paused again, you guys. And it looks like, I bet you supers were as well. And I just had to turn them back on. Wow.
I am getting 50-50 is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of 2s. Yeah, no, I mean, that's why. I mean, I'm not gonna put all my chips on one side or the other. It's something to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay, just letting everybody know that I turned back on super chats and I just turned back on channel memberships. Man. Okay.
So they just turned it off without saying anything? Like, it unchecked the box that you had to recheck?
Yeah, it was literally just turned off, like, during the middle of the broadcast. Both of them were turned off in the middle of the broadcast. Well, yeah, I guess So, scary stuff, very scary stuff. I wanted to say that the post before that one was a link to the video of Renegade speaking with the Prime Minister of Russia when he was caught on that hot mic, saying that he had more flexibility after the election. I mean, right there is proof of some type of collusion, showing that, he's, willing to do things, but, privately, but not publicly. And then we also have this tweet from Tom Elliott in the post before that. And it looks like something went wrong. Here we go. So Clapper asked whether he'll accept Senator Graham's call to testify. He says, given my age demographic, I'd be happy to come after I've been vaccinated for the CV. I don't particularly want to put my life or my wife's life in jeopardy. Says remote testimony is something that he would be willing to do. But then the post says, is this about the virus or about protecting themselves? Mail-in ballot push for the election, Democratic state bailouts push, and refusal to testify regarding fear of CV-19. Who benefits the most? Well, it's obviously going to be the Dems who benefit the most from the mail-in ballots, because they're the ones who are going to benefit from having the ability to fake it. I think anytime we see people, doing these mail-in ballots, there's always a lot of questions about, their legitimacy, what's going on. And it would be just so easy for them to go ahead and fake it. Let's say in a community, I believe it was California, maybe it was in Washington. Somebody had sent me a picture of it, but you don't sign your mail-in ballot. You sign the envelope. So all they would have to do would be to open the envelope, if you voted for the wrong person, they just put a new ballot in there and then match it up with your envelope and then count the vote, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious cheating. I mean, we know that it went on a lot in the midterms and all that stuff. It would have had to explain some of these people getting in. I mean, AOC really, you know what I mean? But as far as this Clapper, clip, the fact that he's pointing to needing, the vax to do it. I mean, aren't they saying that we aren't going to have one till the end of the year at least?
Yeah.
How convenient. You get past the election, and then I'll come talk. But he'll talk about his life or his wife's life in jeopardy. But he's got no problem putting Flynn's life and his family's life in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So I don't care how old this guy is or whatever. Put him on Zoom. Make him do it. Put him under oath. And then that's been a question too. Can they be technically put under oath?
Yeah. He could remotely. He could testify remotely, and he'd be under oath. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's just a question I kept being asked, and I didn't want to lie to people, but that's what I kind of assumed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do it remotely. That's fine with me. You know, make it happen. Even though I'd like to see him squirm in the same places that he's lied before.
It's a little bit more pressure.
Right, yeah. I mean, and he's one of the ones that can't really handle the pressure at all. He can't make eye contact when he's lying at all. And Brennan, too, if you ever watch the old stuff, anytime he's lying, watch his hands if they're on camera. And he's just straight fiddling. Like, I mean, he could be doing origami and be great at it.
Thank you to Denise again in Mountain Lace. Top Rom says, "What's up, my Patriot brothers from another mother? Where we go on, we go all. Seattle, Washington. That's the belly of the beast up there." John Asturias says, "Geraldo Gonzalez Valencia, financial backer of wealthy cartel Los Casinos, captured by U.S. Special Forces in Uruguay and being extradited to the U.S. That is great news." Crystal Grant says, "It took this long because it's everywhere. Hydra." Then Coop, again, thank you for that D5. John Asturias says he is brother-in-law to El Mencho, kingpin of the global Jalisco Nueva Generacion. Big win for the trafficking, and waterboarding him will reveal intel. I bet it will. Recon Marine says Lindsey Graham is the queen, LOL. Rook Castle says, "What if we start Quarantime in Method's YouTube channel?" Well, I don't think that Method's channel is approved for live streaming yet. You have to have a certain number of watch hours. You have to have a certain number of subscribers. Yeah, I mean, it's a process to go through. I mean, that's definitely something that we've considered. Should we start a whole different channel just for this stuff so that we can, maybe, get some of the heat off. But it's something that we're going to, figure out behind the scenes before too long.
One thing that we can say to this audience, I mean, we have obviously, dedicated people that watch and hang out. This chat's the greatest group of people I've ever, been able to chat with. One thing that you can guarantee, now all options are on the table on what Red Pill and I want to do with various channels or using other streaming platforms or whatever. Red Pill and I definitely want to keep doing shows together. We enjoy doing the co-host thing. We like, the banter back and forth makes sense. You guys, having, about over 5,500 people here and pretty consistently at that, we assume you guys like it too. And once again, we appreciate it. If you guys don't mind clicking that like button to help us, get this out there even further. That's one thing that you can bank on, is that Red Pill and I want to continue doing this co-hosting thing together in whatever capacity that it is.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to keep it up. And then White Hat Granny says, "Love you, Red Pill. Smart and funny, and you make the news more enjoyable. Thanks for your hard work. It's appreciated." Thank you very much for that. I want to give, before we end the show today, because we've got, only 2 minutes left, but I need to say thank you to a couple of people who sent me letters and who sent me a book. Dr. Juliet M. Engel sent me her memoir, Sparky. I'm going to be reaching out to Juliet to have her on the show. I've got probably 3 or 4 people who watch the show who are also authors that I am going to be having on in the coming weeks, you guys. So we're going to have a virtual Red Pill reading club. Not like Oprah, but kind of like Oprah. Okay. And then I need to say thank you to Karen Oyama. You wanted me to confirm that I got your letter and the contents. I did. I'm also going to send you an email because you included that. Susan Williams, thank you for the stickers. Smoky Mountain Fresh Roast, thank you once again for the coffee. I mentioned it when I received it the first time, but I just got your letter today, just wanting to confirm that I got it, so I need to say thank you. And yeah, that's everybody that got letters and communications from today. Now, I know that people have asked me, you know, how long does it take me to get mail? It takes a couple of weeks because it's got to go to my mailbox and then it gets routed back to me. So, you know, just be patient. Just know that if you send something out, the chances are really likely that I'm going to get it. It's just going to take a little bit longer. Need to do just a couple of quick thank yous here. Voldwraith says, no name is McShame, but why is he no name? Could you explain? I'm curious. Because from the posts, the line was, you know, we don't say his name. We don't honor him by speaking his name. We dishonor him by choosing not to speak his name.
Right, and POTUS, or, you know, President Trump would not say his name either during all the time until after he was, you know, passed away. But before we even move on, I know people are starting to, you know, leave and all that stuff, which is fine. I hope everybody has a great day. Like I said, click that like button. It really helps us out. Share this program. But I'm also sharing the link directly to 412's show with Dilly, and quite frankly, it starts here in an hour, like you guys do, and I appreciate. Go flood their chat with Red Pill and Method sent me. Yep. It's always fun to see that over there. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be catching the show because those three together are great. So I'm about to flood this chat with the link. Yeah. So make sure you guys go over there and show some love.
All right, and thank you to Jeff Kennedy. I appreciate your message, especially. I can't read it on the air. He said, F YouTube and Google Greed. Thank you. Void Wraith says oh, that's right. Thank you, Void Wraith. John Asturias, the counter narco ops are absolutely crushing the black money of the deep state. I specialize in all things south of the border. John, we've spoken a little bit, but man, I feel like I want to have a longer conversation with you, maybe do a Zoom call or something. Patrick Fallon says, thanks RP78, Dark to Light. Do I see USA 2.0 Quantum coming? Where we go one, we go all. The Patriots are winning bigly. Richard Everett, Michelle is the queen, Hillary is the rook. Very interesting. Patriot drummer, POTUS should be awarded reset on the first term. I agree with you there. And then Kathy Figarelli, thank you for that as well. So once again, everybody, thank you to the mods. Thank you to everybody for supporting the channel. Thank you, 412, for coming here today. And actually, I don't have to produce my own show later today. So if, depending on who you got on the air, 412, I would love to be able to call in and say what's up to you guys. And then, yeah, once again, thank you to everybody for supporting the channel, you know, in whatever way you support Methods or in whatever way you support myself. I couldn't do this stuff without you guys. And Methods, I couldn't do this show without you either, brother. I love you. I love all of you guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, much love to homo, dude.
All right, definitely. All right, guys. See you at 6 p.m. for my daily broadcast, and good luck and God bless.